News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Denise Pellegrini. Utah Republicans are now blaming social media for the murder of conservative political activist Charlie Kirk at a Utah University campus this past week. Utah Governor Spencer Cox calling social media a cancer on our society.
The most powerful companies in the history of the world have figured out how to hack our brains, get us addicted to outrage, which is the same type of dopamine, the same chemical that you get from taking fentanyl, get us addicted to outrage and get us to hate each other.
And Cox there on NBC's Meet the Press disagreeing with them, though. Colorado Governor Jared Polis.
It's not the free speech that led to this. It's not the fact that people can talk and communicate online. It's the actions of an unhinged, evil individual that caused this horrible, horrific assassination.
And Polis on ABC's this week. The suspect in the Kirk shooting, Tyler Robinson, will make an initial court appearance on Tuesday. And the Trump administration, meantime, is asking Congress for an extra $58 million to boost security for the executive and judicial branches. The request to include the extra funding in an upcoming stopgap bill comes ahead of a September 30 deadline when the current federal spending law runs out. White House official also signaling support for expanding resources to safeguard lawmakers, though it left specifics of that decision to the legislative branch. U.S. and Chinese representatives, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, discussed TikTok, trade, and the economy during high-level talks in Madrid today. ByteDance's TikTok faces a deadline to reach a deal to continue operations in the U.S., and the talks in Madrid are expected to resume tomorrow morning. Officials expected to lay the groundwork for a potential meeting between President Trump and China's leader Xi Jinping as soon as October, when they're scheduled to attend a summit in South Korea. Meantime, President Trump heads to the UK this week with the First Lady. He'll be hosted by King Charles. Top execs from U.S. AI-related companies like NVIDIA and the owner of ChatGPT are also expected to make the trip and sign tens of billions of dollars in deals. The Telegraph says the UK Prime Minister Starmer and President Trump are also expected to sign a quantum computing pact. Watch for a potential wave of central bank cutting from the Fed and others this coming week. The Fed widely expected to cut interest rates a quarter point. Some are even calling for a half-point rate cut, given the weakness in the job market. Andrew Sliman, head of Apple Equity Advisors at Morgan Stanley, says the Fed, though, shouldn't cut too far too fast.
If they cut aggressively, I think the market is going to get worried. They see something that the market doesn't see. If they are measured but continue to cut, the history says when the Fed cuts and the market's at an all-time high, the next 12-month returns are very good.
We'll have live special coverage of the results of the Fed meeting on Bloomberg Radio, Bloomberg Television, and streaming on YouTube, and also have analysis on Bloomberg News Now when it all comes down this coming Wednesday. Bank of Canada and Bank of England could also cut this week, and the Bank of Japan also meets. Traders, meantime, bracing for a possible liquidity crunch this coming week in the U.S. Bloomberg's Tom Busby explains why.
A combination of corporate tax payments and auction settlements could drain more money out of the system and trigger a cash shortage. And that could disrupt the balance of cash and assets used as collateral by banks and others, just as the amount of funds they hold with the Fed as a cushion declines. Now, when a similar so-called repocalypse occurred in 2019, overnight lending rates spiked, and the Fed had to jump in and inject billions of dollars into the system. The Fed has since added more backstops. In New York, Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
President Trump's legal efforts to oust Fed Governor Lisa Cook are getting complicated. The Justice Department is asking judges in Washington to fire her right away for alleged mortgage fraud. While the case proceeds, Cook is asking until September 18. One record just out over the weekend shows Cook may have accurately called one of the homes she got loans for a vacation home, not a primary residence, as the Trump administration claims. We're hearing Brookfield Asset Management is in talks to buy U.S. landlord Yes Communities from Singapore's sovereign wealth fund GIC. The entire portfolio, according to the sources, could be valued at more than $10 billion. Talks are ongoing. There's no guarantee of a deal. Texas Congressman Michael McCaul says he won't seek re-election in 2026. That's what the former chair of the Homeland Security and Foreign Relations Committee tells ABC's This Week.
It's been an honor to serve for over 2 decades in the Congress. I'm looking now for a new challenge.
And former world boxing champion Ricky Hatton, who rose to be one of the most prominent, popular figures in the sport, has died. He was 46. He was found dead at his home in Greater Manchester, according to Britain's Press Association. Police say they are not treating the death as suspicious. And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Denise Pellegrini. This is Bloomberg.